The Alfa Romeo 8C 2900B Lungo Spider occupies a rarefied space in the pantheon of classic automobiles. Wearing a name that carries immense historical weight and being built in numbers so limited they can be counted on two hands, this masterpiece of Italian engineering and design has become one of the most sought-after pre-war sports cars ever produced. With only around 12 examples of the Lungo Spider variant believed to have been constructed, its scarcity is matched only by its elegance. Recently, one of these remarkable machines crossed the auction block and commanded a staggering $19.8 million, cementing its reputation as one of the crown jewels of the collector car world. To put that number in perspective, it is the kind of sum more commonly associated with a cliffside mansion in Malibu or a penthouse overlooking Central Park, not with a vehicle designed in the late 1930s. Yet for enthusiasts and collectors, the Alfa Romeo 8C 2900B Lungo Spider represents more than just a car. It is a rolling sculpture, a slice of motorsport heritage, and a statement of both wealth and taste. Exclusivity never comes cheaply, and in this case, it is precisely the scarcity combined with the mystique of the Alfa Romeo badge that fuels such astronomical valuations. On paper, some might question the justification. With a top speed of around 109 miles per hour, the 8C 2900B Lungo Spider would hardly trouble even a modest compact car from the modern era. Compared to today's hypercars capable of doubling or even tripling that velocity, it may appear underwhelming. But context is everything. In the 1930s, a vehicle capable of approaching those speeds, while delivering sublime handling and unmatched beauty, was nothing short of extraordinary. Alfa Romeo wanted buyers to believe they were driving a Le Mans contender adapted for public roads. And in many ways, that wasn't far from the truth. Beneath its sensuous bodywork, the 8C 2900B carried advanced engineering drawn directly from the company's successful racing endeavors. The design itself is breathtaking. Flowing fenders, elongated proportions, and delicately integrated details create a silhouette that seems more Art Deco sculpture than automobile. The Lungo designation signified the long wheelbase version, which gave the car a graceful presence and more comfort on extended journeys without compromising the race-bred pedigree underneath. Each one was hand-built with meticulous attention to detail, further contributing to its aura of exclusivity. These cars weren't mass-produced. They were crafted in the old-world tradition, where time and artistry were more important than production efficiency. For collectors, the allure goes beyond mere numbers and performance figures. The 8C 2900B Lungo Spider represents the zenith of pre-war automotive innovation, a blend of Italian passion and engineering brilliance at a time when the world was on the brink of seismic change. Every surviving example tells a story not just of Alfa Romeo, but of the era in which it was conceived. An era of optimism, style, and racing ambition that would soon be overshadowed by global conflict. Today, when one of these rare Alfa surfaces at auction, it creates a ripple across the collector community. Bidders are not just vying for ownership of a car. They are competing for a piece of history that cannot be replicated. The $19.8 million price tag reflects more than horsepower or speed. It reflects rarity, craftsmanship, heritage, and the eternal desire to own something truly unique. So while it may never outrun a modern hatchback in raw numbers, the Alfa Romeo 8C 2900B Lungo Spider doesn't need to. Its value lies in the way it makes people feel, in the stories it carries, and in the unmistakable beauty of its presence. This is not a machine built for commuting or practicality. It is an automotive jewel, a collector's dream, and a timeless reminder that true exclusivity transcends performance statistics. Beyond its auction price and shimmering lines, the Alfa Romeo 8C 2900B Lungo Spider must be understood in the broader tapestry of 1930s motorsport and design culture. It did not emerge in isolation. Rather, it was the culmination of Alfa Romeo's relentless pursuit of performance and prestige throughout the pre-war years. Before the 2900B, there was the 8C2300, a machine that established Alfa Romeo as a dominant force in endurance racing. The 8C name itself stood for 8 cylinders, a badge that quickly became synonymous with cutting-edge engineering and competition success. The 8C2300's victories at Le Mans in the early 1930s gave Alfa a reputation few could rival. Legendary drivers such as Tazio Nuvolari piloted Alfas to glory, cementing the brand's place in racing lore. By the time the 8C2900 arrived, Alfa Romeo had developed not just a series of race cars, but a lineage that represented the pinnacle of Italian performance. The 2900 carried forward that DNA, blending a supercharged straight-eight engine with chassis technology refined on the track. The B version of the 8C2900 was particularly notable for offering both Corto, short wheelbase, and Lungo, long wheelbase variants. The Corto was the weapon of choice for those with racing ambitions, nimble, aggressive, and stripped for speed. The Lungo, by contrast, provided a slightly more civilized experience, with a longer wheelbase that delivered comfort and elegance on the road. Yet even the Lungo, dressed in its flowing Spider bodywork, carried the unmistakable aura of a competition machine. This duality, race-bred performance cloaked in refined Italian styling, is what makes the 8C2900B Lungo Spider so enchanting today. To understand its impact, one must also consider its contemporaries. In France, Bugatti was producing the Type 57 SC Atlantic, a car that today commands similar reverence for its artistry and scarcity. In Germany, Mercedes-Benz fielded the mighty 540K, a supercharged grand tourer of immense presence and power. And yet, while the Bugatti stunned with its futuristic form and the Mercedes impressed with Teutonic might, the Alfa Romeo struck a uniquely Italian balance. It was at once light and purposeful, yet undeniably sensual, as if its bodywork were sculpted by the wind itself. Where others aimed to dominate, Alfa sought to seduce. The Mille Miglia, Italy's legendary 1,000-mile road race, further burnished the 8C2900's legend. Versions of the 2900 achieved remarkable success in this grueling contest, proving that the same DNA coursing through the Lungo Spider was more than capable of conquering the open road under the harshest conditions. For buyers of the era, owning a road-going 8C meant sharing in the glory of those victories, experiencing a slice of motorsport in their daily motoring. Today, the value of the 8C2900B Lungo Spider at auction reflects not just nostalgia, but an appreciation for artistry that transcends time. Collectors view these cars as rolling investments, but also as cultural treasures that must be preserved. When one of the 12 known Lungo Spiders surfaces, it sparks international interest, with museums, private collectors, and connoisseurs all vying for ownership. The $19.8 million figure might seem excessive to the uninitiated, but to those in the know, it represents the price of entry into an exclusive club whose members are custodians of automotive history. What elevates the 8C further is the philosophy embedded in its design. Italian coach builders of the 1930s approached automobiles not as mere transportation, but as canvases. Companies like Touring, Zagato, and Pininfarina each left their mark on chassis supplied by Alfa Romeo, creating bodies that were as individual as they were exquisite. The Lungo Spider exemplifies this ethos, its sweeping curves and delicate proportions more akin to fine art than industrial product. Unlike mass-produced cars of the era, each example bore subtle differences, shaped by the hands of artisans rather than the dictates of an assembly line. And yet, beneath its elegant exterior, the 8C2900B was ruthlessly advanced. Independent suspension at all four corners, a rarity in the 1930s, endowed it with handling far ahead of its time. The supercharged straight-8 engine, derived from Alfa's Grand Prix cars, delivered smooth, relentless power. Even if its top speed of 109 miles per hour seems modest today, in context it placed the Alfa among the fastest and most sophisticated road cars of its day. This balance of beauty and technology is why many historians regard the 8C2900 as a forerunner to the concept of the supercar. Culturally, too, the car represents a window into a world that no longer exists. It was born in an era of optimism, when the automobile symbolized progress and freedom, yet just years before global conflict would reshape society. Many of these cars were hidden, lost, or destroyed during the war, making each surviving example all the more precious. To encounter a Lungo Spider today is to step back in time, to glimpse not just a car, but the spirit of pre-war Europe at its most ambitious and creative. Reflecting on why such machines command devotion, one realizes it is not about speed or practicality, but about the stories they carry. Each Alfa Romeo 8C2900B Lungo Spider whispers of Tazio Nuvellari's daring, of Italian artisans hammering panels by hand, of aristocrats and adventurers who once piloted them along winding coastal roads. When it appears under the bright lights of an auction hall, it is not just steel and leather on display, but a living narrative of human passion, ingenuity, and artistry. Ultimately, the 8C2900B Lungo Spider's value cannot be measured solely in dollars. The $19.8 million bid is a number, but the car itself is priceless. A masterpiece whose worth lies in its ability to stir the soul, to connect us with a golden age of motoring, and to remind us why cars can be so much more than machines. In this sense, the Alfa Romeo 8C2900B Lungo Spider is not just an automobile, but a legacy, one that will continue to inspire awe for generations to come.